is the majority of the people. And we're still struggling with that ideal. The ideal that in this country, the ruling class is everyone, and therefore the education of that class is crucial, profoundly important. As I say, I'm not saying that to use the common expression, to brown-nose you when you're in favor. I believe that deeply. I believe it very much. In that spirit, let me say that I invite questions and reasonably kind remarks. I would accept interruptions that are in a good spirit with what I do. I'm eager to talk to you. I have no particular agenda that I need to accomplish. I would like to be as useful to you as possible. And let me enlarge on something else that Greg Bird said about the poem in anybody's voice. In my opinion, the medium for a poem is the reader's body, the reader's voice. In that sense, poetry is the most bodily of all the arts. And you could say, you know, Mr. Pinsky, you say poetry is the most bodily of all the arts. Dancing is quite bodily. Yeah, but dancing as a high art, we think of it as a trained expert's body. And I'm saying to you that poetry, as those videos you saw, as I was sitting there, I was hearing it was a high school janitor in Illinois talking about Theodore Redke's great poem, The Waking. I wake to sleep and take my waking slow. I do urge you to read those. If I am right, that is the medium. Poetry is different from many of the arts that you consume every day. I assume you listen to a lot of audio. I assume that you listen to hip hop and rap performed by terrific artists. I assume that you watch video of actors with terrific production values and great special effects. Some of those are great works of art. I believe that a sitcom or an animated film can be a great work of art. And a poem can be stupid. I know lots of poems. Many of them are just crap. But a difference important in a culture in which mass art is so highly refined, so large, so ubiquitous. If I'm right about poetry, it is by the nature of its medium on a human scale. By the nature of its medium, it respects the dignity of the individual. Take a really great performance of somebody singing and dancing. I can send 10 million copies of that video to Tanzania and Belgium and South Africa and Minnesota, the touch of a button. They're all exactly the same. It is inherently and by the nature of the medium on a mass scale. If you watch that high school janitor read the poems of Redke, if you watch the Jamaican guy, Seth Rodney, read the poem of Sylvia Plath, you're seeing one person's voice. If you say a poem to yourself, you are the medium. I'll digress on the word medium just a little bit. We speak of the news media, which is the plural of medium, the medium of newspaper, the medium of the web, the medium of TV, the medium of radio. When something is neither tall nor short, it's medium, neither hot nor cold, it's medium. Somebody, the same root is involved when you say somebody mediates between labor and business, or you mediate between two people who are getting divorced. The artist who uses enamel or oil or watercolor or wood. That's the artist's medium. What do all these uses of the word medium have in common? Suddenly I'm giving a quiz. What is the word medium? We say the medium of the internet. Is it hot or cold? It's medium. He mediated between the couple who were angry at one another. What's the idea? The artist's medium is oil.
They all relate into.
They what?
They all relate into the way in which somebody perceives something.
They all relate between something, and they're all in between. Is it hot or cold? It's in between. The news media are between the event and we who hear about the event. The artist's medium is in between the artist's ideas and feelings and the audience. And I'm saying to you that the medium for Theodore Redke is that guy's body. The medium for a poem by Langston Hughes or Walt Whitman or Pablo Neruda is the breath of anybody who says it. It's sort of like positioned by the dead. And I submit to you, going back to the idea of democracy, that an art that is by the nature of its medium on an individual human scale perhaps has an important place. I'm going to say a few poems to you, but I wonder if anybody has a question they want to ask about all this yakking that I've been doing. In fact, I'm going to go on strike. I will continue after I have some kind of question.
All righty, sir.
Yes.
How do you find your own medium?
How do I find my own medium?
Like us, how would you find it?
In other words, my medium, you don't mean choosing the art of poetry, but how do I manage to have anybody else pay attention to what I write? Is that a fair paraphrase of the question? I try to think about my own, I flatter myself that I get bored more easily than most people. I really get bored very easily. A lot of things that people watch, I get bored. A lot of things people read. I had a terrible time in junior high school. So the result of this is that in the 8th grade, I was in the dumb class, as was affectionately known. So I think about things that I liked. And I figure I'm not so insane or peculiar that if I try to imitate the things I like, maybe somebody else will like it. Here's something I can remember reading that knocked me out. I didn't understand it. I knew it was great. To Earthward. Love of the lips was touch as sweet as I could bear, and once it seemed too much, I lived on air that crossed me from sweet things. The flow of, was it musk, from hidden grapevine springs downhill at dusk. I had the swirl and ache from sprays of honeysuckle that when they're gathered shake dew on the knuckle. I craved strong sweets, but those seemed strong when I was young. The petal of the rose it was that stung. Now no joy but lacks salt that is not dashed with pain and weariness and fault. I crave the stain of tears, the aftermark of almost too much love, the sweet of bitter bark and burning clove. When stiff and sore and scarred, I take away my hand from leaning on it hard in grass or sand. The hurt is not enough. I long for weight and strength to feel the earth is rough to all my length. I suppose you could say I was inspired by that. I thought some equivalent of that is so cool. I couldn't have written a good essay about it. I couldn't have told you what it means to say the petal of the rose it was that stung, but I know it was kind of funny. I crave strong sweets, but those seemed strong when I was young. The petal of the rose it was that stung. It's almost silly, the petal of the rose. And the way that is incorporated into something that also seems very important, just that it sounds so good, to really put it quite plainly. So I started as a musician. In my high school graduating class, I was definitely not voted most poetic boy or I was voted most musical boy. And something there. I just try to make things that other people like. You all better get ready to have questions like that guy, but I will say a couple of poems of mine. This is my poem that somebody mentioned before I started here.